How to prepare for and survive a nuclear attack. If you are watching this video, there is a high chance that you are not in a nuclear attack. But it is always good to be prepared for the worst. This video will go over what you need to know about surviving in a nuclear attack. In conclusion, it is important to know what you need to do in order to survive in a nuclear attack. It is hard to believe that a nuclear attack is not just a thing of the past. The threat of nuclear war still looms over us, and it's important to know what you can do to get ready. A nuclear attack is a result of the use of a nuclear weapon. A nuclear weapon is a type of bomb that explodes with an extremely large amount of energy, which is released in the form of heat, light, and radiation. The blast from a nuclear explosion can destroy buildings, cause fires, and break windows hundreds of miles away. Radioactive fallout can spread for miles around the site where the bomb was set off. This video will provide everything you need to know about preparing for a nuclear attack. It will cover the basics, such as what should be done before an attack, what to do during an attack, and what to do after an attack. What are the effects of a nuclear bomb blast? Nuclear bombs are one of the most destructive weapons ever created. They can cause a lot of destruction to buildings and other structures in their blast radius and can even destroy large sections of the surrounding environment. Nuclear bombs are made up of two major parts, a uranium or plutonium core, and chemical high explosives that detonate around this core. The explosion is caused by the release of nuclear energy from these materials. The effects of a nuclear bomb blast depend on many factors like the size and type of bomb, distance from ground zero, weather conditions, etc. What is radiation and how does it affect people? Radiation is the emission of energy from a source. Radiation can be used for good or bad. Radiation is the emission of energy from a source. Radiation can be used for good or bad. The most common types are electromagnetic radiation and ionizing radiation, which are both found in nature and in man-made sources such as X-rays, microwaves, nuclear reactors, etc. How to protect yourself against radiation exposure. In this section, we will talk about the harmful effects of radiation exposure and how you can protect yourself against it. Radiation is a form of energy that comes from radioactive substances like uranium. It is released in waves that travel through the air and space. These waves are invisible to the naked eye and cannot be felt by humans. However, they can cause significant damage to cells in the human body if they come into contact with them. The most common form of radiation exposure is through natural sources such as radon gas or cosmic rays. This type of radiation exposure is not usually harmful to people because it's far away from us and there are many layers of Earth's atmosphere between us and them. The other type of radiation exposure is man-made, which includes X-rays, microwaves, CT scans, and nuclear power plants among others. There are several ways you can protect yourself against radiation exposure. Radiation exposure is a serious concern for many Americans. There are several ways you can protect yourself against radiation exposure, such as wearing protective clothing and taking common-sense precautions. Radiation exposure is a serious potential long-term health hazard for anyone exposed to radiation. The risk of cancer will increase with the amount of radiation exposure. Where can I go to survive if there is a nearby nuclear blast or radiation exposure? If you are in a building, take cover in the basement. If you are outdoors, find any type of shelter. If you are in a car, stay inside and keep the windows closed. Put on your seatbelt and drive away from the blast site. Nuclear fallout protection kit and 5 tips to stay safe with one. Nuclear fallout protection kit is an essential for any household. There are 5 tips to stay safe with one. Buy a kit that is approved by the FDA and has been tested by the Department of Defense. People can buy a kit from the FDA that has been tested by the Department of Defense. This kit is approved for use in hazmat and emergency situations such as chemical spills, hazardous materials incidents, and other emergencies. Know where it is stored in case you need to use it quickly. Make sure that everyone in your household knows what to do if there is a nuclear attack. Have a backup plan for food, water, and shelter if you can't reach your nuclear fallout protection kit. Different types of emergencies occur, and in the event of a nuclear fallout, you will need to have a backup plan for food, water, and shelter. Be prepared to evacuate if necessary. Best ways of getting rid of radioactive materials from home. Radioactivity is a natural phenomenon. It is present in the environment. Everyone has a small amount of radioactive material in their home. Some of the best ways to get rid of radioactive materials from home are as follows. Disposing the items that are made out of certain materials such as wood, plastic, paper, and fabric will make it easier for you to get rid of radioactive materials from your home. You can also use other methods like burning or burying these items in your backyard. If you have some concrete or brick in your house, then you should not dispose them because they contain low levels of radiation and do not pose any health threats to humans.